and I'll be talking about free marriage counseling and financial counseling.
In the first 100 days, nor will it be finished in the first 1,000 days, nor in the life of this administration, nor even perhaps in our lifetime on this planet. But let us begin.
Welcome. It's me again. We are here to continue the Andrew Yang policy series, a series of policy proposals that Andrew Yang has put together for his presidential campaign. You can find all of his policy proposals on yang2020.com. I invite you to take a look right after this video. Take a look at yang2020.com to see what else he has to offer. He has over 100 proposals for different types of policies on his website so that anybody in the general public take a look and get more information about what he talks about during his town halls, his interviews, his speeches, his debates, and all the other formats that he has conveyed much of what he's left on the website for anybody to get a little bit more information about who he is and what he stands for. Today, I'm your host, Rashid Hill, and I'll be talking about free marriage counseling and financial counseling. Andrew Yang starts off his particular proposal and giving you some background into what he is looking to bring about with his presidency in this area. Let's talk about this here. He says marriage rates have plummeted across the board in America. And if you do get married, it's tough to stay together through all the stresses that accompany marriage and particularly child rearing. Any couple that stays together is a win for the next generation. We should support families who want to stay together in any way that we can. So children raised in two-parent households have better outcomes across every dimension. Studies also show that being in a happy marriage contributes to longevity and life satisfaction. However, there is currently very little support out there for people who are looking for assistance in managing their marital relationships. Most of the assistance that you find will be with religious organizations, and a lot of people may not want to do that. Maybe they would prefer to be in a different setting, and therefore they may not take the opportunity to go get this counseling before they dive into marriage and then run into some problems that they didn't really expect or suspect would happen. So as we know, in the U.S., of course, the divorce rate is higher than the marriage rate. And so we have to be very cognizant of this as a reality. So because of the huge societal good that comes from keeping marriage couples who want to stay together in their relationships, marriage counseling for interested couples should be free or heavily subsidized by the government. So here's some of the problems that Andrew Yang wants to solve. Divorce negatively impacts the adults involved as well as the children. 2, children from two-parent households have, on average, better outcomes across most metrics. So he wants to make sure that these, that he has formulated as problems, he wants to provide some solutions. So one of the goals he has to provide those is provide assistance to couples who want to remain together, but they're struggling a little bit. So this is something that Andrew Yang really wants to do. He says, as president, this is what he'll do. He'll include family counseling in any healthcare plan offered through the federal government. So we know about his Medicare for All, which I will start to call Healthcare for All. And he has a public component and a private component. So if you have good insurance or if you have excellent insurance and you like the network that you're in and you want to utilize that at your will, then you can opt in to the public or Healthcare for All plan that he proposes. And if you have an emergency or if you have something that needs to happen, then you can go ahead and visit the clinic of your choice, because you may have been with a doctor or a medical facility and you understand the relationship is very powerful for somebody when you're going for health care, medical care, any type of care. And a lot of times we love those relationships and we stay with that particular doctor for years. So you don't want to be upended and then have to find somebody in another network just because it's free and it's offered by the government. If it's non emergency or routine care, then of course take them up on that particular plan because it's free, right? But then if you really want to see a doctor about a specific issue that maybe you've been seeing in the past for years on end, then it makes sense that you want to go to somebody you trust and you already know. And if you have to pay $20 or $30 for that, then that's the maximum you'll pay. So I don't understand the frustration that some of these news announcers and some of these journalists and some of these interviewers out there have, because Andrew Yang is proposing a plan that's been proven in New Zealand and been proven in UK, Sweden, Australia, Norway. And these countries have the same plan, and it's working fine. And the people in the country have basically made it known that with their plan, the private portion of it is no more than about $30. That's it. If there may be some maybe plastic surgery or something that may cost more if you want to do that, but on average, you're gonna pay $20, and you can go to a specialist if you like, and then everything else routine is free. So to me, that is the ideal plan. And so I wish that the people that consider themselves intelligent and learned on the topic, and comparing them to Bernie or Warren, they need to get over it and let's press forward with getting Andrew Yang in office. Another thing that Andrew Yang talks about that he'll do as president, he'll mandate the inclusion of family counseling services in any plan sold through I want to say medical for all, but healthcare for all plan. So with his healthcare for all, he'll have that part of the counseling services, or any healthcare plan that the government subsidizes. Then he says subsidized marriage counseling provided by any credentialed provider through the tax code. So either way it goes, Andrew Yang has proposed free marriage counseling for anybody that desires it. No cost, at no cost. So how much better can it be? So that's one of the plans that he proposes. And I invite anybody to go to yang2020.com, get more information about that. Listen to him in some of the videos that he has on YouTube. Just Google Andrew Yang, and you'll find out that he's a solid thinker. He has put a lot of thought into how to take the world and bring it back into a direction that we can grow together and we can prosper as a nation. So his slogan, humanity first, makes sense. And most of his policies are directed at doing just that. It's not right. It's not left. He's taking the country forward. So as we talk about free counseling, we talk about free marriage counseling, but in addition to the marriage counseling, Andrew Yang, being an entrepreneur, being a nonprofit owner, as well as now a presidential candidate, he has definitely proven himself to be worthy and qualified to be at the top, at the leader of the free world. I want to talk about one of his other policy proposals, and that's free financial literacy counseling as well. So having the free financial counseling coupled with the free marriage counseling, as we know in America, the statistics show that the number one problem that creeps up into a marriage at some point is based on finances. And if we, as a nation, can get our hands around that and help to find a way to bridge the gap between financial illiteracy and financial literacy, then I think that a byproduct of the success of knowing and understanding financial literacy, financial management, and simple banking and money and currency, if we can understand that as a couple in a relationship, then I think that that is the beginnings of repairing any type of rift that happens in a marriage based on that particular topic. So let's talk about Andrew Yang's policy proposal on financial literacy counseling. He says financial literacy is lacking for many Americans, in part because it doesn't seem relevant until too late. And then it seems needlessly complex. We need to make it easier to learn about investing and saving for Americans of every age at every stage. Financially literate Americans are harder for companies to take advantage of and will pass good financial principles down to their children. This is good practice, and we need to support it. The current level of financial literacy in America is shockingly low. Most people don't understand how our banking system works, how to invest their money, or what's the best financial vehicle for their retirement fund. And most Americans can't afford or don't have enough money to warrant a financial advisor. Since we want Americans to have some control over their retirement, it's important to ensure Americans have the knowledge they need to save and invest properly. While educating people when they're young adults is one avenue to achieve this, not everyone remembers everything they learned in high school, and to be totally honest, almost all of us didn't pay attention in at least one of the classes that taught anything about financial literacy. It's important to continue to provide assistance to those who want to learn and save for their future. What problem is Mr. Yang trying to solve? He says most Americans have no idea how to save for their future, despite desperately wanting to. That is very interesting because when I think about financial literacy, I've actually gotten to a point where in my adult years, I do career counseling as well as presentations and workshops for youth in our local community. And the main topic is financial literacy. And we know how important that is as adults, being in the labor market and being entrepreneurs as well. We understand that it's critical for our youth to understand what banking is about. Understand, put your money in a place that is going to give you your best ROI and while you're young. So when you do get old or older, then you have an opportunity to have a little nest egg or something to fall back on so that you won't feel stressed out when things get rough. Because life happens and you will need to find a way to make it through. And if you have a family, and if you're the husband, then the wife is looking to you as security. Or if you're the husband, and the wife may be the breadwinner, and so as a husband, you may be taking care of the home and doing things that traditionally may not be the case, but it doesn't matter because you're sharing the responsibility. Then somebody's going to need you to make sure, whoever that person is, be it the male or female, if you're the one that's saving money, if you're the one that's looking at where to put money so you can get a good ROI or a return on your investment at a point in the future, then definitely you want to prepare yourself properly for that. And from experience, it is very challenging to read up on ways to invest your money and then ways to increase your investment and maximize your return when you don't really understand the vehicles that you can use to do that. And so you do give your money to, I have, something called thrift savings plan. Additionally, there's mutual funds that are safer. And then you can go into stocks, and then you can go into some of the digital assets as well. But at the same time, to understand how the system works, to learn what mechanisms are used to calculate how much to invest, and then what the market is doing, if it's going up, if it's going down, what is a bull market, what is a bear market, what is, how do stocks work? I mean, there are so many different vehicles that you could use in order to prepare yourself for the future financially. So definitely protect yourself and get help with that. But what I like is that Andrew Yang has come up with a proposal at the federal level that can assist anybody that's starting a family or just getting out on their own or if they have a little job and they're making a little money, or if you're taking that freedom dividend, now you have $1,000 a month that you can take some of that and invest. So he gives you the money and he gives you the tools to go ahead and get you started off right in your life. So most Americans really have no idea how to save for their future, despite desperately wanting to do so. And so that freedom dividend will give you a leg up in order to have some money to go ahead and invest. What are the goals that Andrew Yang proposes here? Make it easier for Americans to learn about financial literacy or personal finance, and like retirement. What is an IRA? How do you use that? What's the best one? Should you go Roth IRA? Should you do regular IRA? I mean, these are some of the things that definitely can be part of the conversation. As president, he says this is what he'll do. He'll direct the IRS to invest in online courses and AI-based advisors to help people understand their options for personal finance. 2, allow all Americans to deduct the cost of a personal financial course at a community college from their taxes. 3, create a division of the IRS to assist individuals who are looking for personal financial advice to contact them for that advice. So that's pretty awesome. Pretty simple, pretty cut and dry. At the end of the day, the federal government, based on Andrew Yang's policies, will have the responsibility of giving you the opportunity, to giving you access, and to giving you the knowledge so that you can set yourself up, take care of your family, start creating a way to leave a beautiful legacy, in your later years, because you had the opportunity that you didn't have before in order to save, in order to properly manage and invest your hard-earned money and the freedom dividend, and your future can be taken care of. As Andrew Yang said in his last speech in Iowa, he says, we want to be able to look at our children and say, it's all right, because we did good. Andrew Yang, 2020. Please leave comments, look at my other videos, and I welcome you to be part of the Andrew Yang Policy Series hosted by yours truly, Rashid Hill. I'll be here every week making sure that I do my part to get the message out there. I appreciate your time. I am so thankful for the people that have left comments and spread, some of my videos as well. I know they're not, the high tech and flashy, but it's from the heart. This is what I do. This is what I believe is the right thing to do. We have a responsibility to take care of our next generation, and I don't want them to have to put up with what our current administration is doing and how it's making us look in the national and international stage. So I'm going to do my part to get Andrew Yang the absolute hands down best candidate that's running for office this particular term. We need him in the office. So with that being said, I invite you to come back maybe next week, or maybe later on this week, maybe even later on right after this video. Take a look at more videos that I have put out, but definitely come back because we're going to talk a little bit more about his the democracy dollars is another one that I want to talk about. His healthcare plan, I'm going to talk about that as soon as he puts that out. He's revising that one, so that's coming out. I did notice that he revised his human-centered capitalism plan, so I'll be redoing that one. There's a reducing veteran suicides. I want to make sure that I highlight that and talk a little bit about that as a veteran. That's close to my heart. We're also going to talk more about cryptocurrency and regulations. We're going to talk about data property. Yeah, that's pretty serious right there. Talking about small business and some regulations there, to climate change. So all of this is coming up. But for the next video, I think we're going to talk about the data and the data property rights. And we'll get into that. And so I welcome you to come back, take a look at the data property rights video. Please leave your comments and spread the word. Thank you. Have a nice evening.